The Toronto Raptors might have figured something out. With Pascal Siakam injured, they're now 7-5. They're sitting 5th in the Eastern Conference. They've gone 2-1 now that Siakam's been injured. He's not coming back anytime soon in the next few weeks. So we need to get used to this Siakam-less Toronto team. And it's been a struggle. Every game has literally been a dogfight. So what am I talking about? What did they figure out? Well, before that, like, subscribe, share this video with your Raptors homies. So what I want to talk about first, before we get into it, is why the offense has actually struggled now. But just a heads up, they have actually switched into a whole different style of play compared to when Siakam was playing. And that just kind of shows just how versatile this Raptors team really is. So the first point I want to talk about is the offense and how Pascal elevated this team's scoring. So before, when Pascal was playing in the first 9 games, the offensive rating was 115.6. That was the 4th best offense in the league. Now, over the last 3 games without Siakam, they have an offensive rating that tanked to 110.1, 5 less points per game. That's now tanked from the 4th best offense to the 16th, just middle of the pack, just average. What exactly happened? Primarily, it's the quality of shots, their effective field goal percentage. So with Siakam, the effective field goal percentage was 53%, which is middle of the pack, 15th. Now, their effective field goal percentage is 47.9. Horrible. 27th in the entire league. Horrible. The quality of shots, the looks that they're getting has been overall pretty freaking terrible. But where exactly are these terrible shots being taken from? Problem is the 3-point shooting. This is something that I was talking about before. Originally, they were shooting pretty well from 3. They were 10th in the league, shooting 37.9, 38%. Now, they're shooting just 31% from 3. That's pretty terrible. That's almost 7% less. Originally also, with Siakam was, or at least the offense was, generating a ton of corner threes. They were taking 10.3 corner threes a game. That was, I guess, like first in the league, the most in the league per game. Now they're still taking about 9.7, so they're still around 10 corner threes, but it's the efficiency that went straight to the toilet. Before with Siakam, they were shooting 38%, 37.9% from corner threes. Now they're shooting 17%. Holy crap, that is a terrible percentage. Above the break threes, they're still shooting the same percentage. They used to shoot 38%, now they're shooting 36%, not exactly a huge difference. Another place that they are struggling from is the fact that when they get these wide open threes, where a defender is at least 6 feet away, they're only shooting like 38% right now on those wide open threes, so not exactly great. Outside of the poor corner 3-point shooting, another place that they are struggling at now is generating free throws. Before, they used to take 24 free throws per game. A lot of it was generated by Pascal's aggression. Now, they're only taking 20.7. It's not the fact that they're not able to get to the paint, they're just not able to get to the line. Another place that they are again struggling from, not just threes, with the corner threes specifically, not just generating free throw attempts. The other place that they're struggling at is the fact that their signature transition offense, the number 1 transition offense in the league. They were scoring 24.4 fast break points per game with Siakam. Now that's dipped to 16.7, 8 fewer points on fast breaks. That is not good, especially when that's your signature style of play, your strengths for this entire roster. They want to be running up and down. They want to get on the transition. They want to actually play a fast-paced game. And the fast break also creates easy mismatches for the team. A team that can capitalize off mismatches. They're not able to get into that. If you checked out my last video, I did mention that Fred VanVleet is a culprit in the fact that they're not able to get onto the transition. He is a lot of times getting the outlet pass from defensive rebounds and getting out into transition and then literally slowing down the ball. Get the ball to Scotty. Get the ball, if when Pascal comes back, get the ball to Pascal. These guys are the ones that are pushing the pace, that are pushing the transition, they're pushing the fast break. So they're not getting onto transition. They're not getting to the free throw line as much anymore. And they're basically just bricking corner threes, all leading to a terrible effective field goal percentage, all leading to the tanking offense. The next thing that Pascal did for the Raptors that they're missing now is the elite defense. He contributes so many important things to this defense. A lot of people want to credit OG. They want to credit Fred VanVleet for their defense, which is 100%. I totally agree. Amazing defenders. To me, though, Pascal is the anchor of this defense. He's the one that can elevate both the floor and the ceiling of the defense. It's not OG. He's not elevating the floor. Specifically where they're missing Siakam is the defensive rebounds. Their defense has been around the same. The defensive rating went from 108.5 to 109.5. So just like 1 point, that's not too terrible. The main place that they're really missing him is like I said, the defensive rebounds. They had a defensive rebounding percentage of 76.2% with Siakam. Now that's dropped to 66.9% because of the fact that they're not grabbing these defensive rebounds after their elite half-court defense. Their opponents are grabbing way more offensive rebounds. So in terms of opponents' second chance points, they allowed before 11.3. Now they're allowing 15. That is not good. Another place where they are also struggling has been, like I said, they're not getting out into the fast break on offense. On the other hand, they're not getting back on defense in transition too. They used to allow just 12.3 fast break points to their opponents. Now they're allowing 6 more, 18.7 now. So once again, rebounding, horrible, especially defensive rebounding. Because of that, you're giving up their second chance points, and you're also not getting back into transition. So it's not specifically the defense, but parts of the defense that they were really dominant at have now become either just average or really bad. Finally, one place that they were pretty freaking dominant at back when Siakam was playing is the points in the paint. They were absolutely shutting down shot attempts in the paint. They were making teams shoot threes, especially from the corners. Now, they used to allow just 44 points on points in the paint. Now they're allowing 4 more, 48. And just so you know, 44 points back when Siakam was playing. The Bucks, I would say, they have probably the best defense, especially rim defense, with Brook Lopez and Giannis and Bobby Portis kind of manning the entire rim. Before, when they used to allow just 44 points, the Bucks only allow 45 points. They actually had a better rim defense than the Bucks. On the other hand, now they're giving up 48 points in the paint, so 4 more points. It doesn't sound like much, but that is pretty much all the difference. So now I want to talk about the good news. What's the good news? Well, the Raptors, they have kind of pivoted in Siakam's absence to really show just how versatile they are. They transformed from a team that thrived in transition and three-point shooting to last year's style of offense, grabbing a ton of offensive rebounds, forcing a ton of steals and turnovers, and not turning the ball over themselves. So for example, in terms of offensive rebounding percentage, with Siakam, they were not focused solely on getting the most offensive rebounds. Their offensive rebounding percentage was just 30.8, which is like 7th in the league at that time. Now they're grabbing 36.2% of their offensive rebounds. Because of this focus and increased offensive rebounding rate, they're also now scoring 18.7 second chance points compared to 15 back with Siakam. And another defensive point that they're focusing on is maximizing the number of steals. They're still getting about 10.7. Now they're getting about 11 steals per game, still top 3 in the league. But in terms of points off turnovers, they used to only score about 21.9 points off turnovers. Now they're scoring 25.7. So 21 to 25, those 4 points does make a difference. They're still one of the top teams in terms of not turning the ball over, only about 12.5. They used to turn the ball over 12.3% of the time. So perfect. You are forcing a ton of turnovers in terms of steals, you're grabbing a ton of offensive rebounds, and you're not turning the ball over and giving the other team more possessions themselves. Another surprising improvement with Siakam out, in terms of blocks, they're actually straight up dominant now in terms of blocks. They used to average 5.3 blocks per game, now they're averaging 8.7, the number 1 team in terms of blocks per game in the last 3 games. Another place where they're thriving at now, especially on offense. Specifically with offense is the paint. They were not as dominant in the paint with Siakam, only scoring 47.1 points in the paint. Now, they're actually scoring 54 points in the paint, 7 more points in the paint. So that's something that I think we should be keeping and focusing on even when Siakam comes back. How are we getting into the paint and scoring at will in the paint? And how they're doing this is literally just getting to the paint and putting up shots, not passing out as much as Siakam was. They're now taking 8 more shots at the rim and in the paint. So within 8 feet of the rim, they're taking 8 more shots. These are great close shots by lengthy scorers. So I think that the Raptors are not in any incredible danger with Siakam being injured. They have other ways to score when they don't have their best scorer, their best playmaker, their best rebounder, their best transition starter. So they spent pretty much the full year last season perfecting this other style of play based around generating more possessions than their team, with offensive rebounds, with steals, with forcing turnovers. So I think the Raptors without Siakam will look a lot like last season's team, just average or above average, which is fine. For a temporary time, that is perfectly fine. But when Siakam returns, he's going to transform this team, the offense, the defense, everything into a top 5 team in the entire league. The best form of this team is the one that can destroy you in transition, that can hit threes at a pretty much average clip, that can stop opponents from scoring in transition. So let me know what your thoughts are about the Raptors finding a new identity with Siakam being sidelined. And to Siakam, get well soon, King. I'm out.